Hey, I'm Melvin Crispell III, and you're watching Gospel Music Buzz.
And we are back with another episode of The Buzz, y'all. This one is pretty special, man. We got New York finest, we got Brooklyn own right here in the building with us. Dove, Grammy, Stellar nominated, Melvin Crispell, not one, not two, but the third. Melvin, what's up, brother? How are you?
What's going on, man? How are you doing?
I'm good, man.
Yeah.
Super excited to be speaking with you. I think the last time I saw you, it might have been at SOBs in New York at some point last year, if I'm not
Yes,
mistaken.
it was my birthday. Yes.
Yes. And you hit the stage. That was great because the team
Thank you.
brought up the birthday cake and everything too, man. That was a
Yes.
whole bunch of carry on. So
Super
that,
special night. Yes.
that was super special, man. But listen, man, we know, a whole lot has been happening with you, a lot of exciting things that's going on. I saw recently you had a planning retreat a few weeks ago. For some
Yeah.
that may not even know what a planning retreat is, just let us know what is a planning retreat and why is that
Yes.
important.
Absolutely. Well, it was my first one, so we were still kind of new to it as well. But I've come into a season where I have a whole new team, and I am really looking to just move forward in growing this career and just getting into more opportunities. So we really just took 2 days to come together and not only work on our separate areas of the team,
Hmm.
but how we can come together as a collective to elevate not only just elevate me, but elevate each team member in their own lane. And so it was a really great weekend to where we just discussed and planned for the future for the next like 8 months. We have a major plan to just do some exciting things. So I cannot wait for the world to see what came of that.
Awesome. Listen, man, we're sitting here and we're watching and we're excited to see what's gonna what's gonna become of all that too. And this has also been a season of a lot of new things because I know you were just at the 66 Grammy, back in February where you were nominated as well. So what was that
Yeah.
experience like, knowing you're going there as a nominee in such an amazing category and you're just going through the whole experience? Like, what was that Grammy experience like?
It was a surreal feeling. That was I was nominated. That was my second time being
Yes.
nominated, which is still mind blowing to me. But the first time I was nominated, it was during the pandemic, so I
Hmm.
couldn't go to the Grammys. It was virtual. So this time, being nominated and being able to go for the very first time in my life,
Yeah.
was just incredible. I mean, being able to see all the celebrities I grew up seeing and just hear different people, different performers, and just the whole vibe of the show itself was incredible. I got to meet some amazing people, network, and come up with some amazing opportunities for me to just showcase who I am and bring Jesus into the situation. So I'm grateful for that.
Bring Jesus into the situation. I like
Yes.
that because again you mentioned, yes, this is indeed the second nomination. I'm sure getting that first one and not being able to go, but now being able to be there to celebrate it amongst your peers and just everything else that's happening. Kind of thinking
Yeah.
back, 2019, you were thinking, hey, this was Sunday best, winning Sunday best, all of that. Just like fast forwarding several years, and you were sitting here now at the Grammys, which is just one of those places that many artists, musicians and so forth, has fine tuned their craft so much, but still haven't gotten there yet. Now, within such a short span, you were there, so I'm sure definitely, that's just a sense of just just being joyful in it of itself.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Listen, it was only by God's grace that I was able to make it to that space so quick. Like I never would have thought it would have happened this fast, but I'm grateful.
And speaking about nomination, keeping on the theme of nomination, and I'm looking, I'm on my phone because we know the date that Stellars was gonna drop these nominations, and we're scrolling through, and I'm looking at the first. I'm like, wait a minute, okay, that's one, that's two, that's three. That's dude. Talk about that, man.
I
Four
like
nominations. Like
four
just
stellar nominations this year. I still cannot believe it when I tell you I found out and I was in the bed. I was like waking up every like 20 minutes and I was like, okay, did I find out did something happen? I finally found out the news and I could not contain my joy. Like I just could not believe it. To be nominated for four Stellas at once was just like I listen. There's so many artists who have been nominated on Stellar on top of Stellar ones, but this is like my first time, and it just means the world to me to be recognized for all the work that I put in. Um, that I day after day, I just prepare for whatever may come, whatever opportunity, and I just do the best that I can do to work hard and to bring forth music that will just reach people. And so to be recognized in that light, it just means the world to me. It's not for the awards. There are just awards at the end of the day. This is all for Jesus, but to be recognized is
of
super
course.
humbling and honoring. Um, and so I'm excited.
Listen,
I'm super excited.
and we were excited for you. And I get, it's not for the award, but also too, as you're a musician, you're an artist, for this project. This was your second full-length project, the No Failure album is a live project. You
Yes.
also stepped into it from that executive producer, role as well in this project. So I felt like while the first one and every other project is your baby, but this one, like you had even much more control over the process with this one. And just going into a live recording, I'm always amazed. I'm like, so many things can go wrong just with doing a live, what we're doing right now, but much less a full-length recording. Like, what was that even process like? Planning leading up to it, the execution day of, like, what were some of those like quick little turnarounds?
Yes. Well, of course, this being my first live recording ever, I've always seen from the outside looking in, but this time I got to, like you said, just have my hands in everything.
Yeah.
And it is not for the faint of heart. Like there are so many moving pieces that anything could go wrong. But I'm thankful for God's grace, and I'm thankful to have had a team who was right there by my side to if anything started lacking, if anything started faltering, they were there to pick up the pieces. And so they made me feel like I'm not by myself. That I have, that they have my back, and I'm super grateful. There were a lot of long nights. I mean, 4 a.m. Zoom calls just to make sure things were running smooth and things were right. And even when we got there, our pre-recording, that took a while. We had
Hmm.
some long hours doing that, but it was a great experience. Like,
Wow.
certain experiences you go through all of that, and people ask, "Would you do it again?" And they say no, but I really would do it again, and I want to, can't wait to, because I want to see how I can grow, and from what I've learned and what I've experienced, how can I make these things run smoother and even elevate that? And so I'm really looking forward to the next one. Not super soon, but but soon enough.
You know, I'm I'm glad that you mentioned just from the work ethic side, right? Because I feel like a lot of, whether it may be someone that's new in the industry, someone that's, now from just a standing here, producer wise or singer-songwriter, getting into it now and just looking at someone like yourself, looking at accolades, looking at nomination, looking at all of these different things, number one single, all of that, but is saying, hey, I want to be that person. I want to be there. But you mentioned those 4 a.m. Zoom calls, the work, the time, the patience. I'm sure when you're there, if something doesn't go right, you also have to approach it with the right mindset so you don't mess up your entire spirit for the entire day, right? Because if you
Absolutely.
if you get
Yeah.
too carried away and you can't go up there and do what you need to do, what would you say might have been, one lesson that you sort of like took away from all of that when it was done, when you sang that last note and it said, hey, that's it, that last prayer was said, and you know that it was done. Looking back, what was one of the things you took away and that you're going to be carrying to the next recording?
Um, it was more of a personal message. It was more like, Melvin, you thought you couldn't do this. You were scared, but look at tonight.
Wow.
It may not have been everything that you wanted it to be in your head, but it was everything it was supposed to be. People that who were here, and I think it was God that ordained this night. Um, and so just go on with grace and be patient with yourself, and just let the Lord do His thing. Like that's literally. I was so nervous. I was so scared.
Mm.
Didn't know what to expect. Didn't know how it was gonna turn out. If I was gonna mess up. If I was gonna crack. If I didn't know. But there came a point where I had to let all of that stuff go and just
Mm.
go for what I know. And I'm grateful that God just led us through that night because He was
Wow.
there. He was surely there, and I'm grateful.
Man, I love that.
Yeah.
That I think, that right there is those are the moments that you take with you in every single situation, everything that you're going through, because even though you may be feeling nervous, you may be feeling, anxious in that instance, but then when you're pulled through it and you can look back and realize it's only but the grace of God that sort of
Yeah.
brought you through that, now equip you for the next thing. And now even talking about, next thing and, new music, you've already started the year off pretty strong. You have two singles out right now that is, we're loving both of them and the
Thank you.
inspiration, the first from CC Wine and then Ty Tribbett. Just talk a bit about those two song choices, going in
Yes.
that direction and what is sort of like, starting with the first, what is sort of meant to you personally, even, he never failed me yet. Speaking about,
Yeah.
getting through, like, what did that mean to you to say, hey, this is going to be one of the songs that have to be on this next project that's coming?
Yes, absolutely. So I wanted to do this project not just as a one-time thing, but as an ongoing series. Like, I want to be able to pay tribute to the artists that have really inspired me growing up as a kid.
Yeah.
And just to name two, CC Winans, Ty Tribbett, even Mary, Kim Burrell. There's so many
Hmm.
different artists, and we're gonna get to them. But he's never failed me yet. I believe I can't even remember the exact date it came out. Um, but it was that CC Winans album where everybody was like, "Oh, CC Winans did something crazy," and so I always listen to CC Winans albums, but not in its entirety. And that was when I said I'm just going to listen to just song for song. And when I got to He's Never Failed Me Yet, I lied to you not. I cried for about 15 minutes, just because of the beauty of the song and what I was going through at the time. It was just a solemn reminder of who God is in my life. And it just really made me question myself and say, yes, you're going through all this. Yes, it's hard. Yes, this, that, and the third. But has God really ever failed you? Like,
Mm. Yeah.
I need you to think back. Has God really ever failed you? And I couldn't come up with a reason. I couldn't come
Wow.
up with a time that He has failed me. And that really lifted me out of a place of just doubt and worry. And so that had to be on this record. I said, I need to do this song for her. And then Ty Tribbett, so hold on. That standout album has a very special place in my heart. I literally always tell people that was like the best live recording in my life that I've been to. Um, but I was a kid. My dad, Melvin Crispell Jr.,
Yeah.
he was one of the organists on that album.
Oh, wow. I
So
didn't know
I
that.
got
Okay.
to, yeah. So I was actually at the recording when they recorded "Hold On." They recorded I made it through so many other songs that
Mm.
was on that album.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was there. And
Wow.
so, I got to really experience that. And Pat Tribbett has always been just a light of hope in my life, just from afar. Being able to listen to his music as a kid, like, you would never know how much he just truly blessed me. So that was another reason I had to tap in on that song. And there are more to come. There are someone said there are a lot more to come. I can't wait.
Yeah, and and you mentioned, just he's never failed me yet, and you've been very vocal about the season that you that you were in and still processing through, losing both
Yeah,
parents, such close proximity, and now this song, I'm sure that have brought up back its own share of emotions, right? Because those are not
absolutely,
feelings you just process and put to the side. They're
absolutely.
continuing feelings that come up in different things, but now you know that you were there with your dad in that moment. I'm sure even doing this song, doing the recording, doing that processing, there was a lot of reflecting, a lot of moments
Yeah,
like, hey, let me just compose myself and sort of go against. I know this one was special when you recorded this.
absolutely, absolutely, super special. Yeah.
Now, with the new project that's coming out this summer, if I'm not wrong, I don't want to,
Mhm.
throw anything out there and it's not this summer, but it is this summer, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay, okay, let's just make sure. So coming out this summer, and is this gonna also be some live songs in there, or is this gonna be studio? Like what are some of the differences that you're looking to bring to this one versus, some of what you've done with the last project?
So it is all studio. We did not do anything live for this project,
Okay,
but I will say um, the versatility is what I'm really looking forward to for these songs because there are different artists. There are, I believe, make sure I make sure I got it right. There's six different artists that are paying tribute to, and so they each have their own textures. They each have their own feels and different things like that. And I just had to sprinkle a little bit of me on top,
of
and
course.
so that's what I'm really most excited about, just to have that versatility and to take you from one place to another. Like you're listening to Ty Tribbett next, and then you turn around and listen to this artist, and then so on and so forth. This is like I want it to be a journey through people's journeys, if that makes sense.
No, no, it
So yeah,
makes perfect sense. And is there gonna be any collaboration on this one? Do you have any
there
collabs on this
isn't.
or
Yeah, there's
oh,
no collaborations on this one.
nice.
I
Okay,
just
okay,
really
good,
went
good.
ahead and did this solo, but in the future, I may be able to doing some type of collaboration on cover. So
No, listen, I'm looking forward to this because I think the direction, just from the creative direction,
mm,
the tribute and homage, but also the creative direction that you're taking, you're saying putting your own spin because that's sort of one of those things that everyone look forward to. If you're gonna listen
yeah.
to a Melvin Crispell album, there's certain key things you're waiting on certain moments, and when that happens, then you get excited. You're waiting for to go up there. You're waiting for some of the runs. You're waiting for certain things. So definitely looking forward to everything that is there. And we were talking, briefly earlier when you mentioned your parents, but sort of growing up, in that vein, in that, bubble, if you may, with just creativity all around you, you're being exposed to different things. How do you now see it, like having that background there, having that influence now? Do you felt like, hey, this sort of prepared me for where I am and I can take more risk knowing that I sort of, came from that vein? Or do you like what was it sort of, branching out with this project and also still keeping everything else that you've learned and acquired to this point?
Yes, well, like you said, I think growing up under different, listening to different genres and different textures and styles of music, that has helped create who I am as a whole today. And so that leads to, the versatility of being able to do this type of music, do this type of music. And so I really don't lose it. It's really more of how do I want to approach this today, or like how am I feeling, like how do I want to express it, and so I really use everything that I can, when I go through these different pieces. So yeah, I definitely don't lose it. It's just it's with me, all the time.
And as we coming up close there, what advice? I always love to ask this question. What advice would you give to aspiring artists? I feel like,
Yeah,
there's every day there's a new, subset that is coming behind. Today you may be the new kid, tomorrow there's someone else in the next day after. But
always.
there's always someone looking for advice as they're navigating, as they're now coming in, or they may even be a step behind where you're at. But what advice would you give to aspiring artists, just given everything you've acquired, in such, within this period of time, but just sort of, future looking?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I always say a couple things to to people who are aspiring. Firstly, keep Jesus first in everything you do. Um, and I promise you will not go wrong. I've tried it many times, and it's proven that with Jesus first, nothing is impossible. Um, Stay kind, be kind, just have a kind heart, and remain humble. Remember where your help comes from, remember where your gifts come from, and remember who your gifts belong to. That is super key in just being able to just be postured correctly before Jesus and pray as much as you can, read your Bible, as my grandma tells me all the time. But these things they work. God has proven himself over and over. He doesn't have to do it again. And so just remain kind, be kind for everybody. You never know who you may come in contact with, who could make or break your situation. It's not, and you don't want to be kind for that reason, but you
Of
just never
course.
know who will see your smile. You never know who will experience your kindness and say, that's what we need. Like beyond the music, beyond the
Yeah.
voice, that's what we need. You never know when that day will come. So just keep a level head and keep your focus on Jesus, and you won't go wrong.
Love it. Yo,
Yeah.
Melvin Crispell the third, go on now. Get the two singles that are out right now. He'll Never Fail. Hold on. The new project is coming this
Yes.
summer. If you're going to be heading to Stellars, y'all, make sure you see him there because he will be on the red carpet. He was nominated
Yes.
for. Oh, we're super excited. We're going to be rooting you on, man. Good,
Thank you.
congratulations and
Thank you
everything,
so
man.
much.
Definitely nothing but love for you, your ministry,
Absolutely.
everything that's happening right now, man. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you. You too. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Thank you.